I stood at my wedding reception in a rented hotel ballroom, watching Caroline dance alone, while my entire side of the hall sat completely empty. Every chair with my family's name cards remained untouched. My phone buzzed relentlessly in my pocket. 45 missed calls from Dad. I ignored them all until a single text appeared that made my blood run cold. One word changed everything. As the DJ announced the father-son dance, I realized my family chose my sister's baby shower over my wedding, and what seemed like simple favoritism was about to reveal something far darker. That morning started like any groom's wedding day should. I woke up in my childhood bedroom for the last time as a single man, sunlight streaming through the same window I'd looked out of for 28 years. The house smelled like coffee and my mother's vanilla candles. I should have felt excited, nervous, ready. Instead, I felt uneasy in a way I couldn't name. Caroline was getting ready at her parents' house across town. She's a pediatric nurse at Children's Memorial, and we met 3 years ago when I was consulting on their new wing expansion. I'm a civil engineer, spent most of my 20s building my career, and when I met her, everything clicked. She was kind, patient, funny in this quiet way that snuck up on you. Her family embraced me immediately. Her father taught me to golf. Her mother taught me her secret recipe for pot roast. They treated me like I'd always belonged. My phone rang at 7 in the morning. Brooke, my sister, 2 years younger, always the one who commanded attention without trying. I answered, expecting her to be calling about some last-minute detail, maybe running late to the salon. Merle, I need to talk to you about today. Her voice sounded strange, tight. What's wrong? Are you okay? I'm fine. It's just, I scheduled my baby shower for today. I forgot it was your wedding day. I laughed, thought she was joking. Very funny, Brooke. I'll see you at the church at 2. I'm serious. I can't cancel now. Everyone's already coming, all the family. Can you just maybe postpone the wedding? Move it to next month? The laugh died in my throat. Postpone? Brooke. We have 200 guests arriving in 7 hours. The church is booked, the reception is paid for. Caroline's family flew in from 3 states. You want me to postpone my wedding for a baby shower? I'm 8 months pregnant, Merle. This is important to me. And my wedding isn't? She went quiet for a long moment. I thought you'd understand. I thought you'd want me to be happy. I do want you to be happy. That's why I assumed you'd cancel the shower and come to my wedding. I can't do that. Then I guess you're making a choice. She hung up. I stood there holding my phone, staring at my reflection in the mirror. This couldn't be happening. Brooke had always been dramatic, always needed to be the center of attention. But this was beyond anything she'd ever pulled. 10 minutes later, Mom called. Sweetheart, I just talked to Brooke. She's very upset. Mom, she scheduled a baby shower on my wedding day. I know, honey. It's unfortunate timing. But she's pregnant and emotional, and maybe, just maybe, you could consider moving the wedding? Just by a few weeks? Are you serious right now? Dad's voice came on the line. They had me on speaker. Merle, your mother and I think it would be best if we all attended Brooke's shower today. Family is family. You'll have other celebrations. This is my wedding day. Silence. Then Dad said, We'll talk later, and hung up. I called Caroline immediately. Told her everything. She went quiet for so long, I thought the call dropped. Caroline? I'm here. I don't know what to say. They're not coming. My whole family. They're choosing her shower over our wedding. Maybe they'll change their minds. Let's just get through the ceremony. Maybe they'll show up. But I knew, deep in my gut, I knew they wouldn't. The ceremony at St. Mark's was beautiful in the way something can be beautiful and heartbreaking at the same time. Caroline looked stunning in her dress, her dark hair swept up, her eyes bright despite the tears she was trying to hide. Her side of the church was packed. 200 people, standing room only. Aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, co-workers. Her family had flown in from Oregon, Texas, and Florida. Her grandmother had driven 8 hours from upstate New York. My side had 3 people. 3. My cousin Danny, who'd been my college roommate and best man. My cousin Rachel from my mother's side, who never got along with the rest of the family anyway. And my buddy Tom from work, who wasn't even technically family but showed up because he said somebody had to have my back. The officiant, Father Michael, tried to hide his surprise. He adjusted the ceremony blocking, moved us further to Caroline's side so the photographs wouldn't look quite so lopsided. When he asked if anyone objected to the union, the silence felt different than it should have. It felt empty. Caroline's hands shook when I slid the ring on her finger. I squeezed them gently, tried to communicate through touch what I couldn't say out loud with 200 of her relatives watching. I'm sorry. This isn't what you signed up for. I'll make this right. When we kissed, her family erupted in applause. My 3 guests clapped politely. The sound echoed wrong in the high ceilings of the church. The reception was worse. The Riverside Hotel had a beautiful ballroom overlooking the water. We'd chosen it specifically because it was big enough for 400 guests, could handle both families comfortably with room for dancing. When we walked in, announced as husband and wife, the reality hit harder than it had at the church. Caroline's side was packed. Every table full, people standing along the walls, a sea of faces smiling and cheering. My side was a ghost town. 15 tables, each set for 10 people, each one completely empty. The name cards sat pristine at each place setting. Mom, Dad, Brooke, Aunt Linda, Uncle Mark, Grandma, and Grandpa Morrison. On and on. A catalog of absence. The hotel staff had already started removing place settings, trying to make it less obvious, but nothing could hide the imbalance. Caroline's family tried to spread out, some of them moving to fill my empty tables, but it only made it more pathetic, like putting Band-Aids on a gunshot wound. My phone had been buzzing in my pocket all through the ceremony. I'd silenced it, ignored it, focused on Caroline. Now, at the reception, during the cocktail hour while Caroline was taking photos with her bridesmaids, I finally looked. 45 missed calls, all from Dad. Text after text from various relatives. Photos, videos, all from Brooke's baby shower. It was happening right now, at my parents' house. The backyard was decorated with pink and blue balloons, streamers, a massive banner that read, "Welcome Baby Morrison," tables of food, a 3-tier cake, at least 50 people, maybe more. Every single person who should have been at my wedding. I watched a video. Brooke sitting in a chair, opening presents, laughing. She looked radiant, healthy, happy, Mom and Dad on either side of her. Everyone gathered around like she was royalty holding court. My hands started shaking. I pocketed the phone just as Caroline found me. "Hey." She touched my arm gently. "You okay?" "Yeah, fine. Just, processing." She looked at me with those eyes that saw through everything. "It's okay not to be fine, Merle. I know. I will be. Let's just enjoy this. It's our day, right? We don't need them. But I did need them." That was the thing burning in my chest. The thing I couldn't say out loud. I needed my father to give a toast. I needed my mother to cry happy tears. I needed my sister to be here, to meet Caroline officially as family, to be part of this moment. And they chose not to be. The DJ announced the father-son dance. Caroline's father had already done the father-daughter dance, spinning her around the floor while everyone clapped. Now it was supposed to be my turn. Dad was supposed to be here. We'd chosen the song months ago, "My Wish" by Rascal Flatts. He'd said it was perfect. The DJ looked at me, confused. I shook my head. He smoothly transitioned to the best man's speech instead. Danny stood up, microphone in hand, and tried his best to be funny and heartfelt. He did a good job, but everyone could feel the hole in the room where my family should have been. Caroline and I cut the cake. We danced. We smiled for photos. Her family was wonderful, truly. They tried to make up for my family's absence with extra enthusiasm, extra warmth. But you can't fix something like that. You can't fill that particular emptiness with more people. It's like trying to pour water into a bucket with no bottom. Around 9 o'clock, as the reception was winding down, I finally looked at Dad's texts. The first dozen were typical. Call me. Need to talk. It's important. Then, around 7 o'clock, a single word, cancer. My stomach dropped. I scrolled down, hands fumbling. Your sister has 3 months. We're saying goodbye today. Another text. She's dying, Merle. She wanted one last celebration with everyone before it's too late. That's why we're here. That's why we couldn't tell you. She made us promise. I showed Caroline. Her face went white. We stood there in the middle of our reception, the music playing, her relatives dancing, and everything I'd felt for the past 12 hours suddenly made a horrible kind of sense. Brooke was dying. My little sister was dying, and nobody told me. We need to go, Caroline said quietly. Right now. We left our own reception, left the guests, the cake, the final dances. We got in the car and drove to my parents' house in silence. Caroline held my hand the whole way. I couldn't feel it. Couldn't feel anything except a numbness spreading from my chest outward, freezing everything it touched. The baby shower was winding down when we arrived. Cars lined the street. I could hear laughter from the backyard. We walked around the side of the house, through the gate. Everyone stopped when they saw us. Me in my tuxedo, Caroline in her wedding dress. A bride and groom crashing a baby shower. Mom's hand went to her mouth. She started crying immediately. Dad stood up from his chair, his face collapsing into something I'd never seen before. Guilt, shame, grief. Brooke was in the center of it all, sitting in a wicker chair surrounded by gifts. She wore a loose pink dress that hid most of her body, a floral headband in her hair. She looked beautiful until you really looked. Then you saw it, the hollowness in her cheeks, the way her skin seemed almost translucent. The wig, because of course it was a wig, I could see now. How had I not noticed before? Merle, she said softly. Everyone else was silent. 50 people holding their breath. You have cancer, I said. Not a question. A statement of fact, trying to make it real by saying it out loud. Stage 4, pancreatic. 6 months ago. And you didn't tell me. I didn't want to ruin your wedding planning. Didn't want everything to be about me dying. So instead you scheduled your baby shower on my wedding day, and didn't tell me you were dying until after I got married without any of my family there? She flinched. Mom started to say something, but Dad put his hand on her arm. Stopped her. I needed this, Brooke said. I needed to know the family would choose me. Just once. Just one time. I needed to be the priority. You've always been the priority. That's not how it felt. I wanted to scream. Wanted to rage. Wanted to tear down the decorations and flip the tables and make everyone feel the hurt that was crushing my chest. But looking at her, seeing how small she looked in that chair, how fragile, how scared despite the defiance in her eyes, I couldn't do it. How long? I asked. 3 months. Maybe 4. The baby's due in 3 weeks. They're not sure I'll survive the delivery. Caroline made a small sound beside me. A gasp or a sob. I couldn't tell. Come inside, Brooke said. We need to talk. Just you and me. I followed Brooke into the house while Caroline stayed outside with my parents. We climbed the stairs slowly. She had to stop twice to catch her breath. Each step seemed to hurt her. When we reached the 2nd floor, she led me to what used to be the guest room. Now it was a nursery. Pale blue walls, a white crib, a rocking chair by the window. She sat down in the rocker, gestured for me to sit on the floor. I did, too numb to argue, too confused to know what else to do. My tuxedo pants would probably get dirty from the new carpet. I didn't care. I'm sorry, she said. I know that doesn't fix anything, but I am sorry. Why didn't you tell me? 6 months, Brooke. 6 months you've known, and you said nothing. At first I thought I had more time. Thought I could do treatment, beat it, tell everyone after I was better. But pancreatic cancer, it's fast, aggressive. By the time they found it, it had already spread. Liver, lungs, everywhere. Treatment. You said you thought you could do treatment. Did you? She looked away. No. Why not? Because the treatment might have bought me 6 more months of being sick. Vomiting, weak, bald, miserable. I decided I'd rather have 3 good months with my baby than 6 bad months dying slowly in a hospital. That's not... You can't just decide that without telling anyone. We could have helped you. We could have been there. I didn't want you to be there for that. I wanted you to remember me like I was, not like I am now. Too late for that. She smiled sadly. Yeah, I guess so. We sat in silence for a moment. From downstairs I could hear voices. The party was breaking up, people leaving, car doors slamming, engines starting. The shower, I said. You scheduled it on my wedding day on purpose. Yes, to hurt me, to see if they'd choose me. Just once. My whole life, Merle. You've been the golden child. The smart one. The successful one. The one Dad brags about to his friends. I've always been just Brooke. Just the daughter who didn't amount to much. And now I'm dying. And I wanted to know if that changed anything. If being terminal made me matter as much as you do. That's insane. That's cruel. I know. But I'm dying, so I get to be a little bit cruel, don't I? I get to have one selfish moment before I'm gone forever. I wanted to argue. Wanted to tell her how wrong she was. How much she'd always mattered. How much Mom and Dad loved her. But I couldn't form the words, because part of what she was saying was true. I had been the favorite, not in any overt way, but in the small things. The way Dad lit up when I called. The way Mom showed my engineering awards to everyone who visited. I'd always known it, felt guilty about it, but never addressed it. I'm sorry, I said finally. I'm sorry if I made you feel less than. I never meant to. I know you didn't. That's what makes it worse, in a way. You never even had to try. You were just better at being loved. Something shifted in her expression then. A hardness came into her eyes. She leaned forward in the rocker. There's something else I need to tell you. Something you need to know before I die, because it's going to come out eventually, and I'd rather you hear it from me. What? The baby. His father. It's Jason. The name hit me like a slap. Jason. Caroline's Jason? Her ex-boyfriend? Yes. When? 18 months ago. We ran into each other at a bar. He was drunk. I was lonely. It happened a few times. Then I found out I was pregnant. And then I found out I was dying, and it all became this horrible mess. I couldn't speak, couldn't process. Caroline's ex-boyfriend. The guy she'd dated for 2 years before me. The breakup had been messy, painful. He'd cheated on her, lied about it, gaslit her, until she didn't trust her own memory. It had taken her months to recover. Does Caroline know? No. And I'm begging you not to tell her. I'm dying, Merle. Let me take this secret to my grave. Let me at least have that dignity. Dignity? You slept with my wife's ex-boyfriend and got pregnant? And you want dignity? I wasn't thinking about you. I wasn't thinking about her. I was lonely, and hurt, and angry, and he was there, and it was a mistake. A huge mistake. But that baby upstairs isn't a mistake. He's innocent in all of this. Does Jason know? Yes. I told him when I found out. He doesn't want to be involved. He signed away his rights. The baby will be raised by Mom and Dad after I'm gone. And the cancer? Does Jason know about that too? Yes. I stood up, needed to move, needed to do something with the energy crackling through my body. I can't keep this from Caroline. She's my wife. You've been married for 6 hours. 6 hours, Merle. And you're already choosing her over me? That's what marriage means, Brooke. That's what you made me miss tonight. The father-daughter dance, the toasts, all of it. Because you wanted to see if the family would choose you. Well, congratulations. They did. They chose you over me. Are you happy now? She started crying. not the delicate tears of someone looking for sympathy. Real, ugly crying. Her whole body shook with it. I'm not happy. I'm dying. I'm 26 years old and I'm dying, and my baby is going to grow up without me, and I'm terrified. I'm so scared, Merle. I'm scared of the pain. I'm scared of leaving him. I'm scared of being forgotten. And I know I don't deserve your sympathy after what I've done, but I'm asking for it anyway because I don't have anyone else to ask. I knelt down in front of her, took her hands. They were cold, bony. When did she get so thin? I'm not going to forget you. Mom and Dad aren't going to forget you. Your son will know who you are. But I can't keep this from Caroline. I won't start my marriage with a lie. Then I guess we're both losing something today, she whispered. A knock on the door. Mom's voice. Merle, Caroline needs to talk to you. I found Caroline downstairs in the kitchen with my parents. Her eyes were red, but she wasn't crying anymore. She looked calm in a way that scared me more than tears would have. Jason's in the hospital, she said. Car accident. He's asking for me. The drive to County General was silent, except for the sound of rain starting to hit the windshield. Of course it was raining. The universe had a terrible sense of timing. Caroline stared out the passenger window. I wanted to tell her about Brooke and Jason, wanted to confess everything before we walked into that hospital, but the words stuck in my throat. How do you tell your wife on your wedding night that your dying sister slept with her ex? That the baby everyone was celebrating was conceived from betrayal? Her mother called, Caroline finally said. Jason's mother. Said he was in intensive care, broken ribs, internal bleeding. He keeps asking for me specifically. She doesn't know why. You don't have to go. You don't owe him anything. I know. But something about it feels wrong. Why would he ask for me? We haven't spoken in 2 years. Because he's the father of my sister's baby, and he's probably scared he's dying, I thought. Because guilt makes people confess things they shouldn't. We pulled into the hospital parking lot. Caroline worked here, knew the layout, led me through the maze of corridors to the ICU. Jason's mother was waiting outside his room, a small woman with graying hair and worried eyes. Caroline, thank you for coming. She hugged Caroline tightly. He won't calm down until he sees you. The nurses said his blood pressure is dangerous. Please, just talk to him. I'll wait out here, I said. But Caroline grabbed my hand. Come with me, please. Jason's room was dim, machines beeping steadily. He looked bad. Bandages on his head, his left arm in a cast, tubes running everywhere. His eyes were closed, but they opened when we walked in. Caroline, he breathed. Then he saw me. Who's that? My husband. We got married today. Something flickered across his face. Pain? Regret? Hard to tell with all the bruising. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. Really. Your mother said you needed to talk to me. Yeah. I thought I was dying. When the car flipped, I thought that was it. And I realized I couldn't die without telling you something. Without apologizing for something. Caroline tensed beside me. Jason, whatever happened between us, it's in the past. You don't need to apologize for anything. Yeah, I do. Because it's not just in the past. It's happening right now. And you need to know. What are you talking about? He looked at me, then back at her. Can we talk alone? No, Caroline said firmly. Anything you need to say, you can say in front of my husband. Okay, fine. It's about Brooke, your husband's sister. I'm the father of her baby. Caroline's hand went limp in mine. She took a step back, staring at Jason like she'd never seen him before. What? 18 months ago. We ran into each other at Murphy's bar. She knew who I was, knew I dated you. We both drank too much, and it happened. Multiple times over a few weeks. Then she told me she was pregnant, and I panicked. I wasn't ready to be a father. I signed papers, gave up my rights. Thought that was the end of it. You knew she was Merle's sister. Yeah. That's why I'm telling you now. When I heard you got married today, married him, I realized you don't know. And you deserve to know what kind of family you're marrying into. What kind of family? Caroline's voice was ice. She's dying, Jason. She has 3 months to live. She made one mistake with you, one terrible mistake, and now she's dying. I know. She told me about the cancer. That's why I'm coming clean now. Because she's going to die, and that baby is going to be raised by your husband's parents, and you're going to be part of that family, and you deserve to know the truth. Caroline turned to me slowly. Did you know? She told me tonight, an hour ago. I was going to tell you, I swear. I just needed to figure out how. An hour ago. We've been married for 6 hours, and you've already kept a secret from me for one of them. Caroline, please. Take me home. Not your parents' house. Our apartment. Take me home right now. We drove back in worse silence than before. The rain was heavy now, the windshield wipers working overtime. Caroline sat rigid, staring straight ahead, her jaw clenched so tight I worried about her teeth. At our apartment, the one we'd moved into 3 months ago, in preparation for married life, she went straight to the bedroom and started packing a bag. What are you doing? I'm going to my parents' house. Caroline, we need to talk about this. Talk about what, Merle? Talk about how your sister deliberately slept with my ex-boyfriend. Talk about how your entire family skipped our wedding for her baby shower without telling you she was dying. Talk about how you kept a secret from me on our wedding night. I was trying to protect you. From what? From the truth? From reality? I'm a nurse, Merle. I deal with dying patients and terrible news and family drama every single day. I don't need protecting. I need honesty. You're right. You're absolutely right. I should have told you immediately. I'm sorry. She stopped packing, sat on the edge of the bed. I can't believe she did that. I can't believe she would hurt you that way, hurt us that way, on purpose. She's dying, and she's scared, and she's lashing out at everyone around her. That doesn't make it okay. I know. And your parents. They knew about the cancer for 6 months and said nothing. They chose her shower over your wedding, without even telling you why. They were trying to honor her wishes. She made them promise not to tell. And what about what you wished? What about what you needed? You're their son, too. You mattered, too. I sat down next to her, kept my hands in my lap, didn't touch her, didn't push. I know this is a lot. I know this is the worst possible way to start a marriage. If you want to go stay with your parents for a few days, I understand. Take whatever time you need. How much time does someone need to process their husband's family imploding on their wedding day? I don't know. As much as you need. She zipped up her bag, stood up. I love you, Merle. But right now, I don't trust you. And I don't know if I can be married to someone I don't trust. What are you saying? I'm saying I need space. Real space. To think about whether this marriage can work. Whether we can survive this. Caroline, please. I'll call you in a few days. Don't call me. Don't text. Just let me think. She left. Walked out of our apartment in her jeans and sweater, the wedding dress she'd changed out of still hanging in the closet like a ghost. I sat on the bed, in my tuxedo shirt and pants, and tried to figure out how everything had gone so wrong so fast. My phone buzzed. An email from an address I didn't recognize. No subject line. I almost deleted it, but something made me open it. Inside were medical records. Brooks' medical records. Diagnosis, treatment options, prognosis, everything. I scrolled through, confused why someone was sending me this, until I reached a section labeled Patient Decisions. Date: 6 months ago. Patient declined all treatment options. Patient stated, desire to let disease progress naturally. When asked to reconsider, patient became agitated and stated, I want to ensure family inheritance goes to my child, not to my brother. If I die faster, they can't change their minds. I read it 3 times, 4, 5, trying to make the words mean something different than what they clearly said. Brooke didn't just decline treatment. She declined treatment specifically to die faster. Specifically, to ensure the inheritance went to her child, instead of being split with me. My sister wasn't just dying. She was letting herself die. And she was doing it to cut me out of the family money. I didn't sleep. Spent the whole night researching pancreatic cancer survival rates with treatment versus without. With aggressive chemotherapy and radiation, Brooke might have had 18 months, maybe 2 years. Enough time to see her son's first steps, first words, first birthday. She threw that away. For money. At 7 in the morning, I called Danny. Hey man, I know it's early, but I need your help. You still work in accounting at Morrison Construction, right? Yeah. Why? I need to see the company financials, specifically anything related to inheritance planning or trust funds. Merle, that's confidential. Your dad would kill me. Danny, please. My marriage is falling apart. My sister is dying and apparently orchestrating it, and I need to know what I'm dealing with. He sighed. Give me an hour. Meet me at the office. Bring coffee. Morrison Construction occupied a small office building on the edge of the industrial district. Dad had built the company from nothing, starting as a solo contractor and growing it over 30 years into a firm that employed 40 people and grossed about $3 million annually. Good money. Enough to live comfortably, send kids to college, retire nicely. I'd always assumed Brooke and I would inherit it together. 50-50 split, like most families do. Neither of us wanted to run the actual business. We'd probably sell it after Mom and Dad retired, split the proceeds, move on with our lives. Danny met me in the parking lot, looking nervous. This stays between us, okay? I could lose my job. I know. Thank you. We went inside. The office was empty, too early for anyone else. Danny logged into his computer, pulled up files I wasn't supposed to see. Your parents changed their will 4 months ago. Right after Brooke's diagnosis went terminal. Changed it how? Everything goes to Brooke's child. The whole company, the house, the investments, everything. You get nothing. The words hit like a physical blow. Nothing? There's a clause. If you contest the will or challenge the trust in any way, you're permanently disinherited and banned from any contact with the child. They really locked it down. Why would they do that? The documentation says it's because you have a stable career and income, and Brooke's child will have neither parent. They feel morally obligated to provide for the baby. There's a letter here from your mom, explaining their reasoning. Want me to print it? Yes. He printed it. I read it standing at the printer, coffee going cold in my hand. Mom's words, explaining how much they loved me, how proud they were of me, how they knew I'd understand. Brooke's baby would need everything. I would be fine. I had Caroline, had my career, had my whole life ahead of me. The baby had nothing but this inheritance. It was reasonable, logical, and it felt like being erased from the family. There's more, Danny said quietly. What? I've been noticing some discrepancies in the accounts. Money going missing. Small amounts at first, then larger. About 200,000 total over the past 2 years. Embezzlement. Yeah. I've been too scared to say anything because the only people with that level of access are family members and senior management. But looking at the timestamps, the withdrawals correlate with Brooke's work schedule. She's been the office manager for 3 years. You think Brooke stole $200,000 from the company? I think someone did, and the evidence points to her. But I can't prove it without a formal audit, and your dad would never authorize that. I sat down hard in the nearest chair. She's stealing from them and they're giving her everything. Looks that way. I'm sorry, man. My phone rang. Mom. I almost didn't answer, but Danny nodded toward the phone. You should take that. Merle. Where are you? We need to talk about yesterday. I'm busy, Mom. This can't wait. Come to the house. Please. Fine. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I drove to my childhood home for the second time in 12 hours. The backyard still had decorations from the shower. Someone had started cleaning up but gave up halfway, leaving a sad scene of deflated balloons and abandoned gift wrap. Mom and Dad were waiting in the kitchen. Mom had been crying. Dad looked 10 years older than he had yesterday. We owe you an explanation, Dad started. You owe me more than that. You're right. We do. But let us explain first. Then you can be angry. I sat down at the kitchen table where I'd eaten cereal every morning for 18 years. Go ahead. Mom took a shaky breath. When Brooke was diagnosed, she made us promise not to tell you. She said she didn't want to ruin your wedding planning, didn't want everything to become about her dying. We thought we were honoring her wishes. She's manipulating you. She's dying, Mom said sharply. She's 26 and dying, and if she wants to manipulate us a little bit in her final months, we're going to let her. She stole $200,000 from the company. Silence. Dad's face went white. What? I have proof. Financial records showing systematic withdrawals over 2 years, all traced back to her access codes. That's impossible. She wouldn't. She also declined cancer treatment, specifically to die faster, so the inheritance would go to her baby before you could change your minds. I have her medical records. She said it explicitly to her doctors. Mom made a sound like a wounded animal. No, she wouldn't do that. Read it yourself. I pulled up the email on my phone, showed them the records, watched as they read their daughter's words, watched as understanding and horror crossed their faces. I don't believe it, Dad said, but his voice had no conviction. She scheduled her baby shower on my wedding day on purpose. She slept with Caroline's ex-boyfriend on purpose. She's been orchestrating all of this for 18 months, maybe longer. And you've been letting her because she's dying, and you feel guilty. What are we supposed to do? Mom's voice broke. She's our daughter. She's dying. How do we punish someone who's already dying? You change the will back. You split the inheritance fairly. You stop letting her weaponize her illness against everyone around her. And if we do that, she dies, knowing we chose you over her. Again, she dies, feeling unloved. She'll die either way, Mom. At least this way I don't lose everything because my sister decided to become a sociopath in her final months. Dad stood up, anger finally breaking through. Don't you dare call your sister a sociopath. She's scared and irrational and making terrible choices, but she's still your sister. Then act like I'm still your son. We stared at each other across the kitchen table. The same table where we'd had family dinners, birthday celebrations, homework sessions. All those memories suddenly felt contaminated. We need time to think, Dad finally said. It's too much. We need to talk to Brooke, see her side of things. You mean give her a chance to lie more convincingly? Merle, please. I'm hiring a lawyer. I'm contesting the will. I'm requesting a forensic audit of the company. And if Brooke tries to stop me, I'm going to expose everything. The embezzlement, the manipulation, all of it. You'd destroy your dying sister's reputation? She already destroyed mine. At least I'm still alive to rebuild it. I left before they could respond. Got in my car and drove without destination. Just drove, trying to outrun the rage and grief, fighting for dominance in my chest. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered without thinking. Mela Morrison? Yes. This is Amanda Chen from Channel 7 News. We received a tip that you're in a legal battle with your dying sister over a family inheritance. Would you like to comment? I hung up. 30 seconds later, another call. Different reporter. Then, another. Someone had leaked this to the press. Someone wanted to destroy me publicly before I could defend myself. My phone buzzed with a text. From Brooke. A link to a social media post. I clicked it, nausea rising. She'd written a long post about her cancer diagnosis, her baby, and her family. About how her older brother was trying to steal her dying wish, how he was contesting her will and making her final months miserable, how she just wanted to ensure her son would be cared for, but her greedy brother wanted his share of money he didn't need. The post had been shared 800 times. The comments were brutal. People calling me a monster, a disgrace, the worst brother in America. Someone found Caroline's social media, started posting comments on her photos. Someone found my employer, sent emails demanding I be fired. In less than 12 hours, I'd gone from a man getting married to a man the internet hated, and my sister was dying with a smile on her face. 3 weeks passed in a blur of lawyer consultations, family arguments, and public shaming. Caroline stayed with her parents. She'd called once, said she needed more time, said she still loved me but didn't know if love was enough. I lived alone in our apartment, eating takeout and ignoring the barrage of hate mail. My lawyer, a sharp woman named Patricia Brennan, was cautiously optimistic about contesting the will. The embezzlement evidence was strong. The medical records showing Brooke's intentional acceleration of her death were damning. But Patricia warned me that even if we won, the court of public opinion had already convicted me. "You'll get your inheritance back," she said during our 4th meeting. "But your reputation? That's gone. You'll be the man who fought his dying sister for money. That's what people will remember. I don't care about the money anymore. I care about the truth. The truth doesn't matter if no one believes it." She was right. Every time I tried to defend myself on social media, the attacks got worse. Someone spray-painted greedy on my car. My boss called me into his office, said maybe I should take a leave of absence until things calmed down. Translation: "You're bad for business." Then, on a Tuesday morning at 4:30, everything changed. Dad called. "Brooke's in labor. She's at County General. It's not going well. You should come." I drove to the hospital in my pajamas. Ran red lights. Didn't care. Whatever anger I had, whatever betrayal I felt, Brooke was still my sister. She was still dying. So the sister? And she was giving birth to a nephew I'd never really gotten to be excited about. The maternity ward was chaos. Nurses rushing. Machines beeping urgent warnings. I found my parents in the waiting area, both gray with fear. "What's happening?" "Emergency C-section," Mom said. "Her blood pressure is too high. The cancer has weakened her heart. They're trying to save them both. But the doctors said, we need to prepare for the possibility that we'll have to choose." Choose what? Who they save? The baby or Brooke? The world tilted. "They can't make you choose that." "They can if it comes to it." And Brooke already told them. "If it comes down to it, save the baby." We waited. 5 minutes, 10, 30. Finally, a doctor emerged, still in surgical gear, pulling down her mask. "The baby's healthy. 7 pounds, 2 ounces. Good APGAR scores. He's perfect." "And Brooke?" "She made it through surgery. She's stable for now, but her heart is weak. The cancer has progressed significantly. I'd estimate she has days, maybe a week or 2 at most." Mom collapsed into Dad's arms. I stood there, unable to move, unable to process. "Can we see her?" Dad asked. "In a bit. We need to monitor her for the next hour. But you can see the baby now if you'd like." They brought us to the nursery. Behind the glass, a tiny human in a blue blanket, sleeping peacefully. My nephew, Walter Morrison, named after our grandfather. He had Brooke's nose, her dark hair. He looked nothing like Jason, which felt like a small mercy. "He's beautiful," Mom whispered. "Yeah, he really is." We stood there, the 3 of us, looking at this baby who'd been the center of so much pain and manipulation, and all of that fell away. He was innocent, he was family, and he was about to lose his mother before he ever really knew her. They let us see Brooke an hour later. She looked terrible, pale, weak, tubes and wires everywhere. But when she saw us, she smiled. "Did you see him? Isn't he perfect?" "He's perfect," Mom agreed, crying openly now. Brooke looked at me. "Merle, I'm sorry. For everything. I was scared and selfish, and I hurt you, and I'm sorry. We'll talk about it later. When you're stronger." "I'm not going to get stronger. We both know that. So I need to say this now. I manipulated everyone. I lied. I stole money. I tried to cut you out of the inheritance. And I did it because I was terrified that I'd be forgotten, that I'd die, and nobody would remember me, and my son would grow up poor and abandoned, like I felt abandoned my whole life. But that was my insecurity. not reality. You never abandoned me. I pushed you away. Brooke, don't. Let me finish. Please. I don't have much time left, and I need you to know. You were always the better person, the better sibling, and I hated you for it sometimes, but mostly I loved you for it. And I'm begging you, please don't let my mistakes poison Walter's life. Don't let him grow up knowing his mother was cruel. Tell him I loved him. Tell him I tried my best, even if it's a lie. I took her hand. Squeezed gently. It's not a lie. You did love him. You do love him. Everything else we can figure out. But the love is real. She closed her eyes, tears slipping down her cheeks. Thank you. The doctor said we should go home, get rest. Brooke needed to recover from surgery. The baby was fine in the nursery. We'd all be back tomorrow. I walked out of the hospital into the parking lot, exhausted in every possible way. And there, leaning against my car, was Jason. He looked different, clean, sober, determined. We need to talk, he said. Now's not a good time. The baby's born. He's my son. I have rights. You signed those rights away. I'm revoking that. I talked to a lawyer. I can do that within the first 90 days. And I'm doing it. I want custody of my son. You're insane. Brooke didn't want you involved. Brooke's dying. Once she's gone, I'm the only living parent. Your parents will have to fight me for custody, and family courts favor biological parents. I'll win, and when I do, I'll control the trust fund. All $3 million. My hands clenched into fists. This is about the money. This is about my son. And yeah, the money too. Why should your family get everything when I'm the one who created that baby? You're not equipped to be a father. Neither are you. At least I'm his actual father. Get away from my car before I make you move. He smiled, cold and calculating. You can't touch me. You're already the villain in this story. You hit me, and it's over. You'll lose whatever sympathy you have left. He walked away, leaving me standing there, shaking with rage. This nightmare was never going to end. I drove straight to Patricia's office, despite it being 9 at night. She was still there, working late on another case, and she listened while I explained about Jason. He's right about his parental rights, she said. If he revokes within 90 days and can prove he's fit, he'll likely get custody, or at minimum, joint custody with your parents. He's not fit. He's a manipulative, lying addict. Can you prove that? Recent drug tests? Arrest records? Documented instability? No. He cleaned himself up. He's working at his uncle's car dealership, staying sober, playing the responsible father to be routine. Then we need a different strategy. We worked until midnight developing a plan. It was risky, required perfect timing, and would probably make things worse before they got better. But it was our only shot. Step 1. Expose everything publicly before Jason could control the narrative. Step 2. Use the embezzlement evidence to challenge Brooke's credibility and the will's validity. Step 3. Negotiate a settlement that gave me back my inheritance, gave Jason supervised visitation, but not custody, and protected Walter from being used as a pawn. This will be ugly, Patricia warned. Your sister's reputation will be destroyed. She's dying anyway, and she's the one who started this war. Are you sure you want to do this? Once we go public with everything, there's no taking it back. I thought about Caroline, about our empty apartment, about the wedding that should have been perfect, about the family that chose to betray me rather than include me. I'm sure. Let's burn it all down. The next morning, Patricia released a statement to the press. Attached were copies of Brooke's medical records showing her refusal of treatment, the financial records proving embezzlement, and a timeline of her manipulation. We didn't hold back. Every lie, every betrayal, every calculated move was laid out in brutal detail. The internet exploded. The same people who'd called me a monster 24 hours ago now called Brooke a con artist. The pendulum swung hard in the opposite direction. Suddenly, I was the victim, the wronged brother, the man who'd been betrayed by his dying sister. I felt sick watching it happen. This wasn't victory. This was just different flavors of cruelty. Dad called, furious. How could you do this? She's dying in a hospital bed, and you're destroying her publicly. She destroyed me publicly first. I'm just defending myself. By attacking a dying woman? What kind of man does that? The kind who's tired of being a doormat for his family. I hung up. Mom texted. Vicious, angry texts calling me heartless and cruel. I blocked the number. That afternoon I called a family meeting at a neutral location, a conference room at Patricia's law office. My parents came because Patricia made it clear they had to. Danny came to present the financial evidence. Jason came because I'd specifically invited him, told him we needed to discuss Walter's future. Everyone sat around the table like we were negotiating a business deal instead of tearing apart a family. Here's what's going to happen, I started. Dad, you're going to authorize a full forensic audit of Morrison Construction. The missing $200,000 will be recovered from Brooke's accounts and returned to the company. She spent it, Dad said quietly, on medical bills for treatments she tried before deciding to stop. On setting up accounts for Walter. It's gone. Then you're going to take out a loan to cover it. This isn't negotiable. Fine. Second, you're going to change your will back to the original terms. 50% to me, 50% to Walter. The company gets split, the house gets split, everything gets split evenly. That seems fair, Mom admitted reluctantly. Third, Jason doesn't get custody. He gets supervised visitation twice a month until Walter is 18. At that point, Walter can decide if he wants a relationship with his biological father. I don't agree to that, Jason said immediately. You don't have a choice. Because if you fight this, I'll make sure every lawyer, every judge, every social worker in this state knows about your history with Caroline. How you cheated on her, gaslit her, manipulated her. How you slept with a dying woman as revenge for losing Caroline to me. How you only want custody now because of the money. You'll never get anywhere near that child. Jason's face turned red. You can't prove any of that. I can prove enough. Caroline will testify if I ask her to. Are you willing to risk it? Silence. Jason stared at me, hatred burning in his eyes, but he nodded. Fine. Supervised visitation. But I want it in writing. I want it ironclad. Patricia will draw up the papers. And what about Brooke? Mom asked. What about her final days? Are you going to make them miserable with all this legal fighting? No. We're going to let her die in peace. We're not going to tell her about the will change. We're not going to tell her about Jason's agreement. We're going to visit her, support her, and let her believe everything is exactly how she wanted it. She deserves that much. Mom started crying. Thank you. Thank you for giving her that. I'm not doing it for her. I'm doing it for Walter. He deserves to have a mother he can remember fondly, even if it's a lie. We spent the next 2 hours hammering out details. Patricia documented everything. By the end, we had a framework. Not perfect, not happy, but functional. As everyone was leaving, Dad pulled me aside. I'm sorry, Merle, for all of this, for not seeing what she was doing, for choosing her over you when I should have chosen both of you equally. I know you are. Will you forgive me? Eventually? I don't know. Ask me again after Brooke is gone, and I've had time to process. He nodded, looking older and smaller than I'd ever seen him. That's fair. 3 days later, Brooke died. It was peaceful, Mom said. She was holding Walter, looking at his face, and she just closed her eyes and didn't open them again. Walter was sleeping when it happened. He never knew he was saying goodbye. The funeral was small, immediate family only, at Brooke's request. She'd planned it months ago, written her own eulogy, picked out her dress, always in control even in death. They buried her next to our grandparents in Oakwood Cemetery. The weather was cold but sunny. Mom and Dad held each other, both broken in ways I didn't know if they'd recover from. I stood apart, holding Walter, trying to explain to a 3-week-old baby why his mother wasn't coming back. After everyone left, I stayed at the grave. Just me and Walter, both of us orphaned in different ways. Your mom loved you, I told him, more than anything. She made mistakes, big ones, but the love was real. Remember that, okay? When you're older and you start asking questions, remember that everything she did, even the terrible stuff, came from a place of love. Misguided, selfish love, but love nonetheless. He yawned, grabbed my finger with his tiny hand. I'm going to make sure you're okay. I promise. Whatever happens with your dad, with your grandparents, with all of this, I'm going to be here. I'm your uncle, and that means something. That means family, even when family is complicated. My phone buzzed. A text from Caroline. I heard about the funeral. I'm sorry I couldn't be there. Can we talk? Finally. After 4 weeks of silence, she wanted to talk. I texted back. Yes. When? Tonight. Your place. I'm ready. Caroline arrived at 8:30. She looked tired but determined, wearing jeans and the sweater I'd bought her for her birthday. She'd cut her hair shorter. It made her look older somehow. Hi, she said. Hi. We sat on the couch, an uncomfortable foot between us that might as well have been miles. I'm sorry I stayed away so long, she started. I needed space to think clearly, to figure out if I could handle being part of your family. And? I can't handle being part of your family. Your family is a disaster, Merle. Your sister orchestrated a psychological torture campaign against everyone who loved her. Your parents enabled her and betrayed you. The whole situation is toxic. My heart sank. So you want the annulment? I didn't say that. I said I can't handle being part of your family. But I can handle being part of a family we build together. Just us. Setting boundaries with your parents. Limiting contact until they prove they can respect you. Creating distance from the toxicity. That, I can do. Hope flickered. You still want to be married? I never stopped wanting to be married. I just needed to know you'd choose me when it mattered. That you wouldn't sacrifice our marriage to keep the peace with your family. I choose you. Every time. No question. She smiled, small but real. Then we have a lot to work through. But we can work through it together. We talked for hours. About boundaries, about trust, about what our marriage would look like going forward. She wanted us to start therapy, individually and as a couple. I agreed immediately. She wanted us to have a redo wedding, small and private, just for us. I loved that idea. What about Walter? She asked. What about him? Are you going to be part of his life? Yeah. I'm his uncle. His only uncle. He's going to need me. And Jason? Supervised visits twice a month. That's it. He doesn't get to be a real father. He doesn't deserve it. Good. We kissed then, soft and careful, like we were meeting for the first time. It felt like a beginning instead of a continuation, like we were choosing each other fresh, without the weight of everything that had come before. I love you, I said. I love you too. Even when I'm furious with you, even when your family makes me want to scream, I love you. That's all I need. 6 months passed. Caroline and I went to therapy every week. We had good days and bad days. Days where the wounds felt fresh and days where we laughed like nothing had ever been wrong. Slowly, steadily, we rebuilt our marriage into something stronger than it was before. I used Brooke's life insurance money to start my own engineering firm. Morrison Engineering, named after the family business but mine alone. Danny came with me as my business partner. We landed our first major contract within 2 months. By month 6, we had 5 employees and more work than we could handle. Caroline thrived in her nursing job. She got promoted to charge nurse in the pediatric ICU. She came home with stories about babies she'd saved, toddlers who'd beaten impossible odds. She was brilliant and compassionate, and everything good in the world. My parents and I maintained a cautious relationship. We had dinner once a month. We talked about safe topics, the weather, Walter's milestones, neutral current events. The deeper wounds stayed unaddressed, maybe forever. Some things don't heal, they just scar over. Walter grew. He smiled, laughed, learned to hold his head up, to reach for toys. He had Brooke's eyes and her stubborn determination. Mom and Dad were good with him, better than they'd been as parents to us. Maybe that's what grief does. Teaches you to appreciate what you have, instead of taking it for granted. Jason kept to his twice-monthly visits. He showed up on time, played with Walter for his allotted 2 hours, then left. He never fought for more. Maybe he realized he'd gotten off easy. Maybe he just didn't care enough to fight. 1 year after the wedding that wasn't, Caroline and I renewed our vows. We did it at sunrise on a beach in Oregon, just the two of us and an officiant. No guests, no reception, no drama. We said the words we meant, made the promises we could keep, and started our marriage over properly. This time, when we danced, there was no empty hall haunting us. There was just ocean and sky and each other. That was enough. That was everything. 2 years later, we had our own son, James Walter Morrison, named after Caroline's father and my nephew. He was perfect. 10 fingers, 10 toes, Caroline's smile, and my stubbornness. When I held him for the first time, I understood something Brooke had tried to tell me in her own twisted way. Family isn't about blood or inheritance, or who gets chosen when. Family is about showing up, about choosing love, even when it's hard, about protecting the people who can't protect themselves. I visit Brooke's grave sometimes, always with Walter. I tell him stories about his mom, the good ones, the real ones, before the cancer and the fear twisted her into someone neither of us recognized. I tell him about the time she won the science fair in 6th grade, about how she used to make pancakes shaped like dinosaurs, about how she laughed so hard at movies she'd snort. I don't tell him about the betrayal or the manipulation. That's not his burden to carry. He'll learn the truth eventually, when he's old enough to understand nuance and forgiveness. But for now, he gets to love his mother, without complication. That's my gift to him. The one thing Brooke couldn't give him herself. Standing at her grave with Walter and James, I finally understood what I'd been fighting for all along. Not the money, not the recognition, not even the apology I never got. I was fighting for the right to define my own family, to choose who I loved and how I loved them, to set boundaries without guilt, to say no without being punished. That's what freedom looks like after trauma. Not forgetting, not even forgiving necessarily, just choosing differently going forward, building something new from the ashes of what burned down. Family loyalty doesn't mean accepting betrayal. Love doesn't mean being a doormat. Sometimes, the people closest to us hurt us the most, and sometimes the hardest thing to do is set boundaries with those we love. But on the other side of that pain, if you stand firm in your truth, you'll find something stronger than what you lost. You'll find yourself, and the people who truly love you will find their way back. That's what I learned in the hardest year of my life. That's what I'll teach my sons. That's what I hope anyone hearing this story takes with them. You can survive your family's dysfunction. You can rebuild after betrayal. You can choose yourself without being selfish. You can set boundaries without being cruel. You can love someone and still protect yourself from them. And sometimes, the family you choose is more real than the family you're born into. Caroline and I dance in our kitchen now, late at night when the boys are sleeping. No music, no audience, just us. My father never called to say he was proud of me after the funeral. He said it later, months later, when we'd both healed enough to mean it, and that was worth waiting for. I pocket my phone when it buzzes these days instead of checking it obsessively. I hold my wife closer. I focus on what I have instead of what I lost. The music plays in our hearts instead of from speakers. And this time, I'm exactly where I belong. So let me ask you something. Have you ever had to choose between family loyalty and your own well-being? Have you ever been put in a position where doing the right thing made you look like the villain? How did you handle it? What would you have done in my situation? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, if it made you think or feel something, please hit that like button. Subscribe to hear more stories about real people facing impossible choices. Share this with someone who might need to hear that it's okay to set boundaries, even with family. Your support means everything, and helps these stories reach people who need them. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for not judging too harshly. Thank you for understanding that sometimes there are no easy answers, only difficult choices and the courage to make them. I hope whatever you're going through, whatever family drama or personal crisis you're facing, you find the strength to choose yourself when you need to. You deserve that. We all do. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to each other. And remember that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away from people who refuse to value you, even if they're family. Especially if they're family. Until next time.